Me and my sister Mia both suffer from fertility issues. I made peace with it long ago, but Mia always wanted kids, so she and her husband kept trying. From in vitro fertilization to adoption, all of them resulted in a dead end. I recently found out that I was 2 months pregnant with twins. My partner Kyle and I were surprised but happy. I called up my sister and told her the news and said I was going to announce it to the family at a gathering at my house. I expected her to be angry, as she has been with other family members for getting pregnant, and told her it was okay if she couldn't come and felt it would be too much for her. Surprisingly, she said she was okay and therapy had helped and agreed to come. So, 3 days ago I hosted a family gathering at our place and announced it via watching pictures on a projection screen, the last photo being my ultrasound. Immediately all family members looked at me and they understood. All of them congratulated me and Kyle, including Mia and her husband. Mia kept really close to me throughout the gathering and asked to see the ultrasound multiple times, which me and Kyle brushed off to her being happy for me. At night Mia called me and said she had something important to say. She wanted to adopt one of the twins. I was appalled. I said I am not giving my twins up for adoption. She kept trying to encourage me to give in and said it would be the right thing to do since we were twins as well. I was getting pissed off and told her I couldn't even if I wanted to, since all adoption agencies had rejected her application and deemed her unfit to raise a child. She started crying, called me an idiot, and said I didn't deserve to be mother and wished the children not to be born to a mother like me. I hung up at that. Since then my mother and some paternal aunts who also suffer from the same fertility issues have been texting and messaging me, calling me inconsiderate and selfish. Kyle, my dad, and my maternal family are with me on this. My mother says since we didn't plan the baby it wouldn't hurt to give away one of the twins, especially when she would still be in the family. I have seen Mia break down during other relatives' pregnancy announcements and be hysterical. I genuinely thought she was okay with my pregnancy after her being in therapy, but apparently not. Still, I did say those things to her knowing it would hurt her. Some maternal aunt said it was probably a mood swing, but I don't know, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. I'm sorry, but the fact that she'd ask for one of your twins just proves she's not in a healthy mental state to raise children. No sane person asks that. Some people might say it was going too far to mention it, but until she acknowledges the level of crazy she's going to over her infertility and gets help for it, she will never reach a mental state fit enough for raising kids. I'd also seriously be questioning whether or not any family members who are siding with her get to have anything to do with your babies. They're just as insane. Is this real? This can't be real. They want you to give up one of your babies because she can't have any. Just because a baby is unexpected doesn't mean the baby is disposable. It's your child. Your sis is out of line, any of your other relatives are out of line if they are pressuring you too. Your mom says you are selfish. Would she have been okay giving up one of her babies? No. Just no. Stand your ground and cut off anyone trying to pressure you. You don't need that type of pressure. Not the idiot. I don't say it lightly. Your mom and those aunts and Mia are totally crazy. This is not a litter you're having. These are your children. You're not giving the spare ones around. How could they even consider it sane for 1 second? I would totally block every one of them, and if your sister is as delusional as she seems, I would go as far as move away if it's possible. I would be totally scared she tried to take one. Maybe I am paranoid, but she sounds like she reached the end of her rope and took a leap. Not the idiot. So I have a new roommate that has been friends with my other roommates for a while. Originally we had 3 people in the house, and now there are 4. I didn't want the new roommate, Sarah, fake name, to move in because of her mental health. I got outvoted though. The rest of the roommates have been friends with her since they were kids. Sarah has a hard time living in reality, not in the way of spacing out, but in the way, if one thing goes wrong, she has a mental breakdown. These breakdowns can be set up by the simplest thing, room, not the way she likes it, someone was mean to her, meet in the house. The rest of the roommates do everything to accommodate her to prevent and when she has these breakdowns. Well, she moved in and everyone is walking on eggshells. She has been here for 2 weeks and she has already broken every boundary I put in place. Don't go in my room, well she's broken that, don't move other people's things, she moved them because they made her stressed. Her friends indulge her and will do anything to calm her down. I came home to a game of don't touch the floor since she was having a breakdown and the roommates were trying to calm her down. She saw I was touching the floor and her meltdown became worse. The two roommates pulled me aside and want me to conform to how she does things to prevent it. There is a giant list of things to do that I could prevent it. Some of them are easy to do, like don't leave wrappers near the dishwasher, but some of them are ridiculous. A special way to fold my clothes, banning pesto and garlic from the house, she isn't allergic, joining in on the lava game to calm her down. I told them no, and this is actually why I didn't want her to move it. That she needs to get a grip on reality or start trying by getting a therapist or something. I'm not changing my crap and not walking on eggshells near her. They called me an idiot and that I'm putting her mental health at risk. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot if she's really that bad as you say. You've been nice enough to put up with that until now and even offered to follow some of the rules they had for you, which was perfectly fine. But if she's consciously overstepping boundaries, what the hell is she doing in your room anyway? She isn't to go in there as long as you don't say it's okay for her to do so. And is an absolute wreck, like you said she is, then she belongs in either a special institution where she learns to live the closest to normal as possible, or at least in intensive therapy. Not the idiot. These are all Sarah's problems, but Sarah and your roommates are trying to make them yours. Sarah needs to get into therapy and find a way to cope with her issues that does not involve her controlling other people's lives. Your roommates are not doing her any favors by enabling this behavior. Unfortunately, since they have all decided to enable Sarah, you may need to find a new place to live. They are also idiots for letting Sarah move in when you did not want her to. Absolutely not the idiot. Did you get outvoted? What the hell? Getting outvoted on who does what chores or what movie you're all going to watch or takeout you're all going to have that night is one thing. There should be no outvoting when it comes to a human being living in the home. If one person isn't comfortable living with another, they don't get to move in, period. These people don't value your opinion and don't respect your boundaries. You need to find new roommates. This occurred over the course of months, and I was recently telling my family about this story, and my sister got mad at me and called me a stereotypical against women, but none of my actions had anything to do with that. I work at a small client service office. It only has about 50 people, all male, with the exception of a few support staff that were women. At the beginning of 2019, we had a new hire to our professional team who was a female. She initially fit right in at the beginning, but slowly she started to make changes and change our workplace for the worse. Prior to her joining, we had a very relaxed atmosphere. We'd curse, talk more explicitly, etc. No one seemed to mind, even our direct managers didn't care. But she complained about foul language and behavior, and soon our HR person got involved and told us we had to keep it more professional. Additionally, she was catty and would report people every so often. Essentially, she was making the workplace sterile and boring. We couldn't let loose as much, and all conversations had to be workplace appropriate. Our team would even have our own little events like going out drinking together afterwards or going to concerts together, and obviously, we excluded her, which she got wind of and, obviously, reported it. So now we weren't allowed to hang out as a team unless all were invited after work. I eventually told our team to not help her out with any projects and give her the bare minimum of assistance if she needed it. Most of the team agreed, and within a few months' time, her performance dropped. I also made sure to report her every time she inconvenienced me. She eventually had a mini breakdown and ended up quitting. Obviously, at work the immediate team celebrated, but my sister apparently thought it was stereotypical against women. I told her if this had been a male doing it, we would have excluded him too. You're the idiot. First, no one thought it was an issue that the company consisted of all men in the important roles, while women were relegated to support staff. What is this, 1950? Beyond that, you absolutely were stereotypical against women. I can only imagine what a boys' club it was there and what the explicit talk really was. It's not unreasonable to want to come to work in a professional environment, and if your behavior rose to the level of her complaining to HR, the problem is not her. That poor woman. You're the idiot. Your workplace is not an environment where you should feel entitled to let loose. You were acting and speaking like a bunch of jerks, and she rightfully tried to amend the toxic environment she was working in. This was stereotypical against women, by the way. I can't imagine you would have described a man as catty if the genders were reversed. If her gender didn't matter, you wouldn't need to constantly reiterate that she was the only woman on your team. You're the idiot. I hope you read all the comments and realize you need to reconsider your actions versus finding ways to justify what happened. Yes, you were a bully. It sounds like you don't think what you did is bullying, and so you can justify it and believe you didn't do anything wrong. Your retaliation for her actions was bullying. You honestly acted like a child when something you liked was taken away from you. Her actions also had legitimate professional reasons. Their reason was, "But this is what I like." So, about a month and a half ago my 32 husband, 37, texted me and told me he didn't know about us, then called later that night to say he wanted a divorce. That he wasn't happy. The very next day, he went to her 23 house. And he's been there pretty much ever since. We have 3 kids. 12, 6, 1. I've been a stay-at-home mom the last year and a half to be with our youngest, and because COVID. So this has left me scrambling, trying to wean our son, find childcare, and get a job. By myself. My ex is staying over an hour away with her. We have pretty much no savings, and he's still paying the bills here until I can find a job and childcare. Now, I've had calls back about jobs, but every daycare I have contacted is full. All of them. Not one accepting 1-year-olds. My ex is spending hundreds of dollars on this girl. He takes her out to eat, buys her things, they go to bars. Also, let me say, a month before he told me he was leaving us, we were looking at houses, planning a move. The kids and I were blindsided. We didn't fight a lot. He works the 3rd shift, so the most we argued about was that he didn't spend enough time with the kids. But we didn't have a bad marriage. I cooked, cleaned, took care of all childcare and household duties. I paid the bills. He worked and slept. Anyway, I've been telling him not to spend our money on her. I need to be able to afford to get my son into daycare if I'm going to get a job. But now all he says is that it's his money and I can get a job. Which I'm trying. And he's no help. I can't do anything without someone to watch my 1-year-old. But I've told him that it's our money until those papers are signed or until I can get a job. He's calling me a petty, jealous idiot, but I think he's the one being unreasonable. He practically abandoned our children. Only sees them because I lost it because our children are having breakdowns and don't understand why he doesn't want to be with us. And was irritated I put them in therapy. Anyway, am I the idiot for telling my ex that he can't spend our money on his new girlfriend until we're divorced or I have a job? Or am I just an entitled idiot? Depending on where you are, there's a reason he doesn't want you on benefits. I'm in the United States, and in some states, if a mother goes on assistance, the state sues the father for child support on her behalf. That means the state will monitor his payments. If he fails, they will garnish wages, cancel his driver's license, make him ineligible for lots of other licenses and benefits, and in extreme cases, incarceration. Go get your benefits that your hard work to earn. The correct pronoun is "are" in this case in reference to that money your soon-be divorcing is making. Not the idiot. Not the idiot. Please print and keep all bank records and credit card statements you can get your hands on. My friend's husband did something similar. He was forced to reimburse all the excess spending he did when it was time to divvy up the marital property. Also, I would definitely hire an attorney, even if you have to take out a loan or credit card. You can often file for temporary relief, which will get you some financial assistance before the divorce is final. Your husband will probably be forced to pay child support and to help with daycare expenses. Not the idiot. And let me tell you about this one divorce decree I read. We live in a no-fault state, so affairs cannot be taken into account, but the wife provided documentation that her husband had spent hundreds of thousands on his girlfriend during the marriage, which was marital property. So when the divorce was being finalized, they added back in what he spent on the girlfriend to the assets, divided it in half, and he got what he spent on his girlfriend and the wife got the property in cash. He also had to pay alimony and child support. Long backstory. I have 2 daughters, Anna, elder, and Carly, younger, who are a year apart. Carly and Anna were close when they were younger but drifted apart in their teenage years. I think she started resenting Carly because Carly always seemed to do well, academically and socially. Anna decided to take loans and go to a college she wasn't really a fan of. Carly got a full ride to Anna's dream college. Anna became very resentful after that. She was sure that Carly chose that college to rub it in Anna's face. I tried my best to accommodate them both. Anna refused to talk to Carly and didn't consent to any form of therapy. Carly refused to compromise as Anna kept being unreasonable. In the end, they both stopped talking to each other. Neither of them has ever asked me to choose between them. As long as I don't bring up the other or try to get them to reconcile, I have a good relationship with both of them. Now, Anna is a single mom with a 3-year-old kid, Alex, who is always in between jobs and in debt. Me and my now wife help out when we can. She receives a bit of child support, but I have to admit that she is struggling. Carly, on the other hand, lives comfortably, has an incredible job, and is living with her long-term boyfriend. Recently, Carly announced that her boyfriend proposes and that she wants to plan a wedding in 2022. She asked me to walk her down the aisle, and I may have cried a bit. However, Anna found out, and then she came over to my house and had a breakdown about how she always thought she would be the first to get married in the family, and she has always wanted me to give her away first. I tried to console her, but she ended up getting angry and told me that I should refuse to give away Carly or have a father-daughter dance with her at the wedding. At first, I refused, but she then threatened to cut off all contact between her or Alex and us. If Alex wasn't in the picture, I would have cut Anna off. As things stand, I need to consider Alex's well-being. Carly is staunchly child-free, and it is very possible that Alex is going to be my only grandchild. Without my help, Alex's life is just going to be much more harder, and I cannot abandon Alex with a good conscience. While I understood that Carly would be upset, Alex was a child and he is priority. I spoke to Carly, explained the situation. I told her that there was still time and I would figure out a way to get Anna to change her mind. If not, I still promised her that I would still be very involved with her wedding, except those two things. Carly just laughed and told me not to bother with her anymore and told me she wasn't going to invite me to her wedding. I definitely know that Anna is an idiot putting me in this position. But am I the idiot for expecting Carly to be more understanding? You're the idiot. Holy crap, are you the idiot? Your oldest child has been an abusive monster to your younger daughter for the better part of her life, and as you've described it here, you've been complicit in it. The fact that you would even remotely entertain Anna's insane demand, grandchild or no, shows how unsupportive you've been. If you want any hope of keeping Carly in your life, tell Anna she's being ridiculous, and you're not going to allow her to dictate the terms of your relationship with Carly. You're the idiot. You're not going to give Carly away because Anna thought she would be the first to get married in the family, and she has always wanted me to give her away first. That's selfish and illogical. The reason Anna is so difficult is because you've enabled her to be difficult and affirmed every bad attitude she's developed over the years. Of course, you're an idiot for expecting Carly to be more understanding. Carly understands the situation better than you do. You're the idiot. Good luck salvaging your relationship with Carly. Her laughing over your response makes me think you've been bending to Anna's demands frequently over the years and taking the easy out. You have your priorities all skewed. Your grandson is not your responsibility. He is Anna's. She manipulated you into taking care of him. The second you do anything she doesn't like, she'll cut you off. Be ready to do this for the rest of your life. She has you right where she wants you. Dance, puppet. Dance.